Hello. Hello and welcome to Canguro English. I'm Christian and welcome to this live English class. Um, how are you? Um, I hope that you are all well. Um, I hope that 2017 so far is a fantastic year for you. Um, please tell me how is your year so far? Mm. I'm um, I'm enjoying a morning coffee. Coffee is very important to me, and I'm lucky here in my town in Spain because they roast the coffee. They make this coffee um, just here in a big factory in town. They import the coffee from Brazil and they roast the coffee. It's very fresh, very good coffee. Um, Coffee is life. Um, so yes, I'm here to answer your questions about grammar, vocabulary, culture, anything you want to ask me about English. I'm here to answer. Um, Also, I have been nominated for an English teaching award, which is for me is very exciting. So if you think that I'm a good teacher, if you think that I'm doing a good job, that I'm helping you to learn, then you can vote for me. Down in the description, there's a link. You can vote for me, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. If you think I'm a good teacher, uh, yeah. So let's have a look at some questions. Mm. Okay. So Bruno from Brazil has asked, what is the difference between I'd like to go to Australia and I did like to go to Australia? So let's write them on the board. Oops. Okay, so here we have the two examples. I'd like to go to Australia, and I did like to go to Australia. Um, so the first one here, okay, this I'd. What is this? This is a contraction of I would. I would. So I would like. So here we are using the conditional in English. I would like to go to Australia. Okay? But here, I did like to go to Australia. This is completely different. Okay? Completely different. Normally, we don't use affirmative auxiliaries in English. Okay? We don't use them because it's not necessary. We only use negative and question auxiliaries. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so here is 3 example sentences. So the first one is I like pizza. The next one is I don't like pizza. And the third one is do I like pizza? And you can see that here we're using an auxiliary to indicate the negative. Perfect. And here we are using an auxiliary to indicate a question. Perfect. But here, you can see we don't use the positive auxiliary. It's possible, it exists. I could say, I do like pizza. This is the affirmative auxiliary in English. But we only use this for emphasis. For emphasis. For example, if you say to me, Christian, you don't like pizza. And I say, yes, I do like pizza. I'm using this auxiliary for emphasis. Okay? But normally, no. And this is similar to your question, okay? I did like to go to Australia. We don't say this because did would only be for emphasis because it's the positive auxiliary. So I hope that helps to answer your question. Please tell me if it doesn't, and I will explain some more. Okay, let's have a look at some more questions here. Yes, hello everybody from France, from Iran, from Brazil. You are very, very welcome in class. I love having such an international audience. I think it's fantastic. And I love to see people from all parts of the world wanting to learn English. Really, really amazing for me. Okay, so a question here from Min. He wants to know how to correctly pronounce the words just and trust. Okay. Okay, so there are two words, okay? Just and trust. Now, one thing that I want you all to remember, something very important, is that pronunciation is not a mental activity, okay? You cannot think about a sound and then produce the correct sound. Pronunciation is not mental. Pronunciation is a physical activity. If you don't have the correct position with your mouth and your lips and your tongue, then your pronunciation will always be bad. So you need to focus on the physical aspect of pronunciation. Okay? So, this word here is just. So, let's have a look at the first sound, the j. J. So the first thing we notice is that it is explosive. J. Okay, we have to expel the air. J. And now let's think about where is our tongue? J. Okay, so the tongue is up, here, in the middle, j, and we have activated the voice, j, j. Okay, so the tongue is up, voice activated, and look at the position of my jaw. J, j, okay, and my mouth is a little bit open. Okay, j, and then we explode. J, just, just. And listen at the end, it's very important that I hear the T. Very important. Just, just. Okay, again the T. So let's think about the T. How do I produce the T? Again, so I have the tongue here, okay, at the top, and I'm exploding. T, t. But the difference is there's no voice. No voice with the T. So it's just. But the mouth position for this is similar. Not the same, but similar. Okay, just. Okay, good. And then trust. So here we have the two T's. T, t, t. Trust. Trust. Hopefully that helps to explain, okay, some of the pronunciation. Okay. And it really helps if you focus on the physical aspect of your pronunciation as well, okay? Um, but the other important thing that Min asked is, what is the difference in pronunciation between British English and American English with this, okay? So, it depends on the region. Like, a New Yorker will pronounce this differently to somebody from Chicago, for example. But maybe the little difference, okay, is that British English, these two sounds here would be more like trust, It's a very low sound, and you can see my mouth is a little bit open, okay. But in general, in American, it would be more open. Trust. And you see my jaw is more open. Look, trust. So, a little difference. Maybe in Britain, in general, mouth closed. Trust. And in America, more open. Trust. Okay? Hopefully that helps to explain the difference. Okay. Yes, I would love to open a cafe company, and my job would be to just drink coffee all day. That would be the best thing. Okay. So another question here from Slovakia, which is I wonder what you think. Okay. So here we have two words in English that are very similar in spelling, okay? But the difference is this is with A and this is with O. And also the pronunciation is very different. This is wonder, more like a O, wonder. But this one here is different. This is wonder. This is more like, so this is a typical crazy thing in English, is that in this word the sound is O, but in this word the sound is A. I'm sorry, this is a problem, but okay, so this is wonder. So wander means to walk around with no purpose, with no aim. Like, maybe if I visit a new city, I wander around the city. I walk around the city, walking with no specific destination, wandering. But this one here, wander, this is, in most other languages, this is a reflexive verb. This is to ask yourself. Okay? To ask yourself. So when you say, I wonder if I should go to Australia or if I should go to England, you are asking the question to yourself, wondering, okay? And so his question is, which is correct? This or this, right? Okay. So this is an example of how this verb wonder is interesting, okay? Because the first one here is correct, but the second one, no, is not correct, okay? Because I wonder what you think, okay? This is a question for me, but in reality, it's not a question. It's not a true question, okay? Because there's no answer, okay? But this one, I wonder, what do you think? Here, it's impossible to use the question auxiliary because it's not a true question. Okay? I'm not looking for an answer. You could say it's a type of rhetorical question. Okay? So the first one is correct and the second one no. I'm sorry. Okay. So Nicolas, I think that you're French, I think, because of your name, Nicolas. So Nicolas was asking about the subjunctive mood in English. So the reality is, Nicolas, that the subjunctive mood doesn't exist anymore in English, okay? The subjunctive mood has basically disappeared. And all we have some specific grammatical structures that contain elements of the subjunctive mood, okay? But the subjunctive mood doesn't exist because there are no special conjugations, okay? If there are no conjugations, it doesn't exist. Linguistically, it doesn't exist, okay? So in reality, you can forget the subjunctive mood, okay? Even, for example, this is an example of the subjunctive mood that sometimes we use from Old English, okay? This is from Old English. Because you can see I were, this is not correct, okay? It's I was, right? This is the correct conjugation, I was. I were is because in the past, were was the verb to be in the subjunctive. But now, it is perfectly acceptable, perfectly normal to say, if I was you. So, in reality, this one small element of the subjunctive mood is disappearing, okay? So, in reality, you can forget the subjunctive mood. Now, there are some specific structures which, again, something like this, you can use elements of the subjunctive from Old English, but they're not really an important part of English. They're a very small, very specific thing that you can study. And I made a class about the subjunctive. If you look in my channel, you will find it, and there's a list of the structures. But the structures are all the same, they're all identical. And you can learn this in 5 minutes, okay? So this is my opinion, my view of the subjunctive in English, okay? And I feel very sad for the languages in the world that have very complicated grammar. And this is one good thing about English, is that the difficulty of English is not in the grammar. In reality, the grammar of English is easy compared to a language like Finlandish, okay, which has a lot of cases and a lot of conjugations. English is easy. The difficulty of English is the vocabulary and the idioms. English is very idiomatic, okay? And this is where a lot of problems come from, okay? Would you like me to give you an example of some idioms in English? Tell me if you would like some examples, and I'll give you some examples. Okay. So flower, I don't know if that's your name, Flower, but if it is, that's a cool name. You would like to know more about phrasal verbs. Okay. Mm. Mm. Okay, coffee's finished. Okay. Okay. In order to understand a phrasal verb, we have to understand that there are three types. Okay, three types. There are types which have no object. They take no object. Okay, so we can say no object. Perfect. Okay, and then there are types which take an object. Okay. But there are two, because sometimes the object is in the middle position, okay, and sometimes it's at the end position, okay. So these are the three types of phrasal verbs that exist: verbs with no object, verbs which have an object, and you can put the object in the middle or at the end. Now, the problem is, if I give you a phrasal verb, like for example, fall down, for example, and I say, okay, fall down. Is fall down this or this or this? It is impossible for you to know which phrasal verb, which type it is, only by looking at the phrasal verb. Okay, it's impossible. I'm sorry. And that's why phrasal verbs are such a difficult and frustrating thing. Because the only solution is to memorize them. Memorize which type. Okay? And there are some general rules, okay? In general, if you are writing, we prefer this. Oops. Okay. If you are writing, we prefer to put the object at the end, okay? But if you are speaking, then we prefer to put the object in the middle, okay? Speaking. Now, this statistics are from the English corpuses. So, for example, the Cambridge University, they take in all of the info, all of the text and speech and books and blogs and YouTube videos, and they take them in and they analyze them, and then they produce statistics. Okay? So if you're writing, we prefer to put it at the end, and if you're speaking, we prefer to put it in the middle. Of course, if it's not possible to have an object, this is the then there's no object. Okay, so for example, let me give you an example. So this is a typical phrasal verb, to look up. Okay, look up means to find information. Okay. To find information, to look up. Now, in this case, this is the type where we can put the object in the middle. Okay. We can put the object in the middle, or we can put the object at the end, okay? They're both possible with this phrasal verb. So, first I have to memorize the meaning. Okay, it means find information, okay. And then I have to memorize the two positions, okay? It can take an object in the middle or at the end, perfect. And then I can write some examples, okay? I will look it up. I will look the word. I will look. Okay, so I will look it up. Sorry, I'm very stupid today. I will look up the word. Okay, so here are my two example sentences. I will look it up. So here I have the object in the middle, and I will look up the word. So here you can see I have the object at the end of the verb. Okay? Now, one rule, well, two rules. I'll tell you two rules. The first rule is that if you use a pronoun, like it or you or we, then it must go in the middle. Okay? Must go in the middle. I cannot say, look up it. Okay? So, rule number one, if pronoun, in the middle. But if it's not a pronoun, I can put it here or here. I could say, look the word up, or look up the word. Perfect. The second rule is that if you have a verb after a phrasal verb, then you should always use the gerund. Okay? Another example. So here I have the phrasal verb to fall down. Okay, fall down. And you can see that after I have the verb run in the gerund. Always in the gerund. Okay? So this is actually a really easy rule that you can remember. Okay? If you see a preposition, like down or up or through or into, then the verb must be in the gerund. Okay? Do not use the verb in the infinitive. Use the gerund. Okay? Hopefully that helps to explain a little bit about phrasal verbs. I'm really sorry that I can't give you a rule and say, this is how you use phrasal verbs. You know, object here, object, you know, but unfortunately, because of the complicated history of phrasal verbs and the history of English, we have this problem. You have to study and memorize your phrasal verbs. There's no other solution, I'm sorry. And I feel your pain. I know how frustrating it is, okay? But don't worry, because if you work hard, you can be the master of phrasal verbs, okay? Okay. Is this like a something of a something? Okay, I have a question here from somebody which says, which articles are possible in the following examples? Like a something of a something. I don't really understand the question. I'm sorry. Okay. So there is another question here from Lionel. Lionel is asking, what is the difference between from and of? Good question, Lionel. Good question. Um, okay, so let me give you an example of the preposition in a pure form. Okay, pure form. I am from Australia. I am of Australia. The difference is that from talks about a place. Okay, he's from Australia. I am driving from Madrid. Okay, a place. But of talks about the material. So in this case, it doesn't make sense. Okay, for example. Superman, you know Superman, right? Superman is the man of steel. Okay? He is made of steel, the material of steel. So in this case, yes, it makes sense. Okay? But also don't forget that it's possible to have from and of in phrasal verbs. And this completely changes the meaning. For example, here are two examples using phrasal verbs. So, to run from something is to oh my God, I'm running, I'm escaping something. Okay? So, in this case, I am escaping my goals. I'm running from my goals. Okay? But in this case, a run of something. Okay, this is not the material. Okay, a run of something means a continuous series of something, something which repeats. Okay, so see, it's different if it's a phrasal verb. So in reality, the answer is it's complicated. Again, this relates to phrasal verbs, and I'm sorry to say that there are no shortcuts. Do you know what a shortcut is? A shortcut is like a very fast route to a place, a fast way to go to a place. Sometimes it's a secret shortcut, or like normally taxi drivers know the shortcuts because they drive every day. But there are no shortcuts to learning phrasal verbs. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So now I understand the question from before. A new version of okay. Okay. So, Google user, hello Google user, he was asking, he or she, was asking about the difference between a new version of a program and the new version of the program. So, this is really the difference between a definite article and an indefinite article. Okay? So, a is something that is not specific. Okay? The coffee. Okay? The coffee is delicious. Okay? this definite coffee, this specific coffee, okay? It's delicious, the coffee. But our coffee is any coffee in the world. Maybe this coffee, okay? Maybe another coffee. It's not specific. So in this case, you're saying a non-specific version, any version of any program, not a specific program, any program. Or you're saying the new version, this specific version of this specific program. See, it's different. It's very different. Okay? Hopefully that helps to understand your question. Please tell me if it doesn't, and I will explain some more. Okay. So Igor from St. Petersburg in Russia. Hello. I think that it's very cold here in Spain, but I think in St. Petersburg it is properly cold, really cold. Not 4 degrees or 5 degrees, but minus 30 or something crazy. He was asking if I could tell you some Australian slang. So the truth is that I don't live in Australia, so I am not 100% up to date with the most recent Australian slang. Okay, but maybe I can tell you about one little thing which I think is very interesting. Okay, in modern Australian English. Okay. So imagine that you see your friend's car. You see your friend's car. Wow. Okay. Now, when you see the car, you say to your friend, wow, your car is totally amazing. It's a totally amazing car. Now, people like to play with language, okay? And Australian English has a lot of influence from American English, okay? And this is something which is common in Australian English, but actually the origin is American English, okay? And what we do first is we don't say totally, we say totes. Okay, so totes, not totally, totes. And the second thing is that what we do is we cut the end of the adjective. So we don't say amazing, we say amaze. So you can see that we have cut the end of the adjective amazing. So instead of saying totally amazing, we say totes amaze. Okay? And you can use this construction for all adjectives. Okay? For example, totally incredible? No. You would say totes incred. Okay, not incredible. We cut the end. Totes incred. And so you can try this. And in fact, if you listen to some popular bloggers, if you listen to maybe some bloggers from Australia who talk about maybe makeup, or they talk about people who blog about their lives, then they will definitely they will definitely say this. Okay, you will hear this a lot. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to maybe do some research and think about some more Australian slang that I can share with you. But this is something that's popular at the moment that you can play with and have fun. It's good. Okay. So let's have a look at some more questions. Okay, so Sergey asked a question about why is coffee important to me and not important for me? It's a fantastic question. So yes, there is a little difference in the meaning between coffee is important to me and coffee is important for me. And it's a psychological difference, okay? So important to me is normally to talk about emotion, okay? So I don't want you to think that I have a problem with an addiction to caffeine, but I have an emotional attachment to coffee. Okay, I love coffee. Coffee makes me feel incredible. Okay, it's an emotional attachment too. But when I say for, okay, for is normally to talk about your health. Okay, for example, coffee is important for me, for my heart, or coffee is important for me for my digestion, or it's important for concentration. Okay, it's to talk about I think the physical effects and not the emotions. Okay, hopefully that helps to explain the difference between the two. Okay, so Wagner from Brazil has asked me a very interesting question, which is, how do English people learn to write and read? And maybe to you this sounds like a very stupid question, like, well, they learn to write and read the same as everybody by writing and reading. But there is a difference in the type of education in England and Australia and America. There's a difference between that and, other education systems. For example, I know about the education system here in Spain, and the education system here in Spain is very different to England. Here, for example, with languages, they are focused on grammar, they are focused on books, activities, and they're focused on repetition, okay? Whereas learning a language in England, they are more focused on creativity, okay? And they are more focused on, I would say, they are more focused on production of language, okay? Not grammatically perfect, but production. For example, now, imagine that you are 7 years old, okay, and you are at school in England, and you write this sentence: I like to eat pizza. Okay, this is what you want to say. I like to eat pizza. Okay, so this sentence has lots of problems. This is not spelled correctly. This is the wrong word, and eat the wrong word, and pizza has lots of problems. Okay, but the difference is in England, the teacher says, "Good job." Correct. Good job. Because the teacher is focused on the creativity of the writing, and they are focused on the production of the language. Okay? And to correct your problems, this will come with time. Okay? Now, you might agree or disagree with this system. But in my personal opinion, as a teacher, okay, language teacher. I'm not talking about mathematics because mathematics is different. Mathematics is right or wrong, okay? And I'm not talking about, science or geography, okay? I'm talking about languages. Languages were never designed for writing, okay? Languages were evolved with humans for communication, okay? And my goal with all of my students is not to have perfection. I don't care if some of the words in your sentence are wrong. I don't care if you write like this, okay? What's important to me is that we can communicate, okay? Because communication, this is the essence, the reason for languages to exist, okay? Languages are not for academics and for lawyers and doctors, okay? Languages are for everybody, for poor people, for stupid people, for people who have no education, okay? Languages are a beautiful tool that we have as human beings. And when you're learning a language, don't worry about perfection. When you make mistakes in English, don't worry. Think, does he understand me? Can I ask for what I want? Can we laugh together? Can we cry together? This is the essence of languages. This is the beauty of languages. Okay? Okay, woo! That was heavy. That was heavy. Well, hopefully that answers your question about the difference in education between England and other countries. Okay. Okay. So Dipayan, hello Dipayan. He was asking, what is a similar word to agony? Ooh, what a great question. Agony. Do you know what agony means? Agony is like pain, but more than pain. A very, very strong pain, okay? And for example, if I want to know a synonym for a word, a similar word, the best thing you can do is look in a dictionary, okay? Not a dictionary, a thesaurus, okay? So I am going to go to thesaurus.com, okay? Best website ever. Oh, you can't really see it, okay? Thesaurus.com. And I put in agony, okay? And it tells me all of the synonyms in English. It tells me the formal, the informal. It's amazing. So, wow. We have, for example, anguish. Oof. We have desperation. Agony. We have distress, misery, torment. Okay, and there are lots. There are here maybe 20 different synonyms. Okay, so get online, look in your thesaurus, and here look instantly we have lots of different synonyms. Fantastic. No. Okay. I'm looking for another question. Okay, so Alex was asking me to show the difference in pronunciation between vile and while. Okay. So here are two English words. Okay, vile. Vile is something horrible, something disgusting, something gross, and while is to say that one thing is happening at the same time as another thing. Vile and while. The difference is the sound at the beginning. Okay, the V and the W. So again, let's focus on the physical aspects of the pronunciation. Okay, so the first one is the letter V. V. How do we make V? So this is labiodental. Labiodental. Okay, so you can see, look. Okay, I have to put my lip here. Okay, and very important, activate the voice. So I'm vibration. Okay, I can feel the vibration here, and I have this mouth position. Okay, vile, vile. But the next letter is W. Very different, very different. What is a W? Think of the name, W. So it's basically two U's, U and U. The U and the U, two U's, W. And what is a U? A U is not a consonant. A U is a vowel. Okay, so that means that a vowel, we have no restrictions, no impediment. The air can escape. Okay, so U is like this. Ooh, right? Ooh, like in the word you. Ooh. Look at my mouth position. Okay, I have ooh. Ooh. Okay, I have lips closed, mouth forward. Ooh. Okay, so basically, W is a long, it's two U's. Ooh. Okay, so this is while. While. Okay? Look at the mouth position. Vile. While. Okay? Focus on the physical aspects and the sound will be perfect. Okay? Okay. Okay. I'm looking for some more questions. I only have 3 minutes left of this class. Today the class went very quickly, and I'm sorry that I don't have time to answer all of your questions. Maybe I need to do 2 classes a week. Maybe I should do one on Tuesday and one on Friday. This could be an idea. Tell me if you would like to have more live classes. Tell me. Okay. One more question. One more question. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay. So, well, I think that I will finish this class by telling you a little story, because somebody was asking me about idioms in English, okay? And I'm going to tell you an idiom which is an Australian idiom, and I think that you will like the story, okay? Okay. The idiom is Buckley's chance. Okay. Chance means like probability. Okay. So the probability of Buckley's is basically 0. Okay. This means probability is 0. Basically, I'm saying that it's impossible to do something. I'll give you an example, okay? If I say to you, I'm going to drive my car from here to the moon. I'm going to drive to the moon. And you say to me, Christian, you have Buckley's chance of driving to the moon. You have 0 probability, 0 possibility of driving to the moon. You have Buckley's chance. Now, the origin of this expression is that in Australia there was an explorer, okay, a famous explorer called Buckley, okay, and he decided to go into the Australian desert to discover new things, okay? But unfortunately, in the Australian desert, the probability of surviving, the probability of living is 0, okay? So he went into the desert with his friend, his partner, and of course he died. So now, when something is very, very difficult or something is impossible, we say, you have Buckley's chance, okay? And this is a very typical Australian idiom, very common. But if you say this in England or in America, nobody will know what you're talking about, which is good or bad, depending. Okay, so unfortunately it's 2 o'clock. I have to go. There are a lot of classes here in the school this afternoon. Don't forget that if you think I am a good teacher, then please vote for me. There's a link down in the description. I have been nominated for a teaching award. So if you think I'm a good teacher, then vote for me. If not, no problems. Well, I really hope that you enjoyed this live class. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all of your questions. If you want to see any more videos about the English language, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you for your time. I hope that you learnt something today. I hope the class was entertaining for you. And yes, I will see you again soon. So have a fantastic week. A new video coming on Friday. A very interesting video about pronunciation. Okay. Bye. Bye.